Another lovely night for baseball in Chicagoland. It is game 2 of a 3-game series. The A's fans have traveled well. Oakland is on the road to take on the White Sox here at U.S. Cellular Field. Thanks for inviting us into your homes once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Chris Sale has not won since July. He's pitched pretty well, but hasn't gotten back into that win column since before the 4th.
And unfortunately for him, since the All-Star break, he's had 5 starts all away from U.S. Cellular Field. So we'll take a look at some of the things that went on. He was brilliant in Seattle, but he came away with a no decision. Then he goes to Detroit, throws the ball very well, but unfortunately in that game, he completed the game and lost it. And then against Kansas City, he makes an exit in that game with a 4-3 lead, only to see it slip away. So Chris Sale, as we take a look, trying to get his 15th. His record in the last 5 starts, 0-3, the ERA a touch over 3. 28 hits and 35 2/3. The strikeout to walk ratio very good. Maybe he needs a little luck and a little offense tonight against these A's.
Well, the A's had the offense last night. That's certainly true in a 9-0 win, and a couple of power bats really enlivened in that game.
Well, we saw Chris Davis. We saw why they wanted to get him from Milwaukee, and he's hit 31 home runs, his 31st last night, taking James Shields way back over the bullpen. That was a 2-run homer. And Marcus Semien having a great year. He hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's got 23. So after a tough year last year, Semien's starting to play better and better. The defense has been there. Ron Washington worked with him. He's been very good at shortstop, much better than last year when he committed 35 errors. And we'll take a look. Last year for Marcus Semien, the 15 home runs, the 35 errors we talked about. This year, 23 home runs, only 16 errors. And Chris Davis has been red hot. Last 7 games, 8 for 24. He's hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's hit it for extra bases. He's driven in runs, and he's scored them. So this Oakland team, although they don't score a lot, they scored last night, and hopefully Chris Sale can hold them down tonight.
Sox and A's game number 2 on the way. Join us, why don't you, from here at 35th and Shields. We get you ready for first pitch just around the corner. Chicago White Sox baseball is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Honda, get the Honda you love at the Honda Summer Clearance Event, now at your Honda dealer. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Ford, America's best-selling brand 6 years running, inviting you to check out our fuel-efficient lineup at your local Ford store or at buyfordnow.com. And by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Test drive their all-star lineup today. Visit buyhyundai.com. sun peeking through here in Chicago. The A's and the White Sox about set to get underway for Game 2 of this series. And earlier this week, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred announced some thoughts on suggestions that he's heard or making for the game and how to maybe change the game. Robin Ventura, Sox manager, weighed in on some of those, including the idea of limiting or restricting defensive shifts.
That's going to be a tough one. I think being able to limit shifts and things like that, because you're also talking, I know they're doing it to kind of speed up the game, but it seems like that would make it long. It seems more offensive if you can't shift and try and prevent a team from scoring runs. So it seems like it might make it a longer game instead of a faster game. So you know, I'm sure they're kicking all kinds of stuff around, but you know, I know as a manager, you want to do whatever you can to stop the other side from scoring or getting on base. And
what do you think about limiting shifts in baseball?
I kind of agree with Robin in that I don't think it's practical. I mean, you've got guys out there, you have a wide open field. Normally, you can play them anywhere you want to. You want to play everybody in the outfield? Well, do it. See how it works out for you. My feeling is with the improved sabermetrics, you get better shifts because you have a good idea where the guy's going to hit the ball. So I think the shifts are here to stay. Does he want more offense? Well, then liven up the baseball. I think it's pretty lively right now. We're on a record pace for home runs. So, you know, the game is a great game. I'm all for playing it and staying with some tradition and moving forward a bit, but shifts, they're here to stay.
You know what else is here to stay?
What?
White Sox socks.
Indeed.
That's the giveaway. You can make your own sock puppet. Give them as a gift for the holidays, whatever you might want to do with them, or just put them on. We've got Game 2 coming up. Your home for the most live sports. Well, Mr. Tarp was rolled out down the left field line, but he has been sent back to his home, and we are very pleased that he'll be watching the game rather than being a part of the game. The rain has passed over, and we are going to get underway at regulation time, barring a downpour in the next 30 seconds or so. Here's the Athletics lineup. The A's are 53 up and 69 down. Simeon to the top part of the card with Coco Crisp out today. There's Davis, who's driven in 77. Couple new guys to the lineup. Brett Eibner over from Kansas City, and Chad Pinder in his major league debut tonight.
We'll take a look at the defense and how Robin is going to line them up behind Chris Sale. It's Melky, Adam, and Jason in the outfield, with Frazier, Anderson, Sanchez, and Abreu in the infield. Yanner Navarro once again behind the plate, and Chris Sale on the hill. Looking for that elusive number 15. This is 24th start. 14-6 ERA, 3.30. From 4 complete games, you see a wonderful strikeout to walk ratio, a whip of 1.04. And he threw very well against Oakland when he saw them earlier in the season. Umpires for the game tonight: Sam Holbrook behind the plate, the crew chief Jerry Davis at first, Rob Drake is at second, and Carlos Torres is at third. So we're ready to play baseball. The rains have stayed away. Jason, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Ready to go. Let's do it. Game 2 of 3 as the A's battle the Sox. Game 2 of a 9-game homestand with an off day coming on Monday here at U.S. Cellular Field, but some golf to be played that day. Simeon first, and he takes ball number 1 from Chris Sale, who you mentioned the strikeout to walk ratio. It's 4.67 for his career, which when you talk about the amount of guys he strikes out per 9 innings, he's one of the best in Major League history in terms of not walking opposing batters.
He's always had pinpoint control with all 3 of his pitches, and Marcus Semien having a big year.
In the air, left field, Melky Cabrera drifting, still going. Melky says hello to the wall and has out number 1.
Well, if there was any doubt if the wind is going to be a factor, you just saw it there, because that ball wasn't hit particularly well and kept on drifting. Melky all the way back to the wall. This one is almost out of the park, but he's able to catch it with maybe, about a foot to spare.
Our friends over at 120 Sports should get Melky on after his celebrity endorsement there, crashing into their sign. We'll get Lawrence Holmes on that. 1 down for Jake Smolinski, the center fielder, 27-year-old, chops it foul. Well, the A's middle of the lineup did the big damage yesterday. Davis was the major culprit with 3 hits, a home run and a double. Scored 4 runs in that 9-0 win.
That was a rare offensive outburst for Oakland, because previous 12 games they had averaged under 3 runs a game. But last night, long ball was in evidence, and James Shields had a bad night. There you look at Bob Melvin, the manager of this team.
And the A's, for Bob Melvin, have their first base runner. It's a 1-out single for Smolinski, the Rockford native. And here comes Danny Valencia. This is an interesting portion of the lineup for the A's, because according to the numbers provided by the fine folks at Fangraphs, Valencia, Simeon, and Davis are 3 of the top 9 hitters in percentage of sliders seen for the year in Major League Baseball. These guys see a lot of breaking pitches.
Well, in the case of Davis, he's playing every day, so he's seeing them from both sides of the plate. Valencia was playing against all left-handers. Now he's playing, all right-handers. Now he's playing against, amend that, all left-handers. Now he's playing against some of the right-handers we saw last night.
One and one on Valencia, who's 2 for 14 career against Sale with 4 strikeouts and no extra base hits.
Somewhat surprising, because he's always handled the left-handers well.
340 for the year this year.
I think Chris Sale is very happy that there was no delay. Anytime you're on a standard warm-up, you know exactly the timing you want. You know when you walk out there, when you start to loosen up, when you start throwing in earnest, then you want to come in the game. Anything that disrupts that is not good. So it looked for a while like they were going to put the tarp on, but not to be.
Rip past third. Valencia singles. He continues to hit lefties well this year, and a 2 on 1 out.
That was a bit of a lazy slider. That ball stayed over the middle of the plate. Chris took something off, and you watch it again. And the lazy, it's not late breaking. It just kind of rolls over the middle, and Valencia takes it through the left side.
Kind of a casual slider.
Well, I think he was probably trying to nip off the outside corner, more a backdoor slider than that, what we've seen his strikeout pitch, which is that back foot slider that he'll bury inside to the right-handers.
Which Davis is one of. Right-handed left fielder who's looking for his first career hit against Sale. He's 0 for 6. Smolinski at second, Valencia at first. way behind the 95-mile-an-hour heater. "31 home runs for Chris Davis, including the homer last night. He's the runs scored leader for Oakland as well with 62 of them. He's the RBI leader. He's the strikeout leader as well. None of those all too shocking for Davis's history.
No, he came over with that kind of reputation from Milwaukee. He could hit the ball out of the park. Very strong. And normally a pull hitter. Although the infield playing him about as much straight away as you'll see the outfield playing him a couple of steps as an opposite field hitter.
On the ground, Anderson. Sanchez. Double play. Sale navigates through trouble. No score after a half inning. Here comes Ross Detweiler. First, the Sox go with this lineup today. Tim Anderson back at the top spot. Adam Eaton is number 2. Then Abreu, Cabrera, Frazier, Morneau batting 6th with a left-hander on the mound. Coach Navarro and Sanchez, the final 3.
We'll show you the defense, and now they'll line them up behind Detweiler, a soft-tossing lefty. It's Davis, Smolinski, and Eibner in the outfield with Healy, Semien, Pinder, and Alonso in the infield. Stephen Vogt once again behind the plate. And Ross Detweiler on the hill, former #1 pick of the Washington Nationals.
Out of the great state of Missouri, Ross Detweiler feeds in strike number 1 to Tim Anderson, who, like many of the Sox players, was 0 for 3 last night. Kendall Graveman, the starter for the A's, was just magnificent.
Yeah, I think that had to be, if not the best game of his career, it's got to be right up there because it was his first shutout, his second career complete game, and he was brilliant from start to finish.
Ball at 2 strikes on Anderson from Detweiler. You know, talking about Kendall Graveman, Susan Slusser, one of the A's beat writers, had a story about this today. Graveman, a couple days before that start, had a 15-minute phone conversation with Greg Maddux. One of the A's front office folks has a relationship with Maddux. They've been friends for a while. Put the call through. Graveman talked to him about just essentially counting back from 27, handling each out no matter what happens. And then he turns in this Maddux-like performance in the start right after that.
Well, he certainly took seriously what Greg said, and I think any pitcher, if he had a chance to talk with Greg Maddux, make the most of it, because you're talking about a guy who was as cerebral as any with pinpoint control and great stuff. So if that's the case, Maddux probably will start charging for those phone calls. Not a bad idea.
I believe I read he's going to be an assistant coach at UNLV where his son is playing.
That's what I heard also.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's Adam Eaton
He takes the ball low.
I assume they should have a pretty good pitching staff. Also, that's a very good recruiting tool. Guess what? Spanky, you get to come to the university and learn from Greg Maddux.
You're saying he's going to recruit Adam Eaton, who goes by Spanky?
He's got a good enough arm.
Yeah.
Could be.
Tell you what.
Last incarnation as a pitcher.
Talk about a recruiting visit. You go to the Bellagio and you meet Greg Maddux. I think they might have the upper hand. 2 balls and a strike on Eaton. He's 4 for his last 12. Two and two. First base, Yonder Alonso for out number 2. Time for picks to click. Here they are. You can vote online, whitesox.com/pick-to-click. Fans go with Adam Eaton today. The crew's got DeAndre tomorrow. Steve is going with the home run leader, Todd Frazier. And I've got Tim Anderson. I have this nasty habit, it seems, of selecting somebody who's already made an out by the time we show picks to click.
And I, of course, am trailing the pack.
But you come back.
Oh, I don't think so.
You're one of those horses that starts slow, you whip it a little bit on the way toward the line.
I think if I would play through mid-November, I'd have a good shot at coming back.
Here's a pitch high, 1-1 on Abreu. I don't know who you'd be selecting once it got toward, Christmas time.
I'd just do the playoffs, World Series against nobody, and then, pretty much win every day if my guy makes it through the game.
I'm saying when the playoffs are over, I don't know who you're gonna pick. You might need it to extend even past the Major League playoffs. College bowl games.
Arizona Fall League.
The
Don't
Fall
forget
League.
that.
2-1. To right field deep. Eibner is back at the wall. Eibner cannot get there.
I think he had his glove on the ball. Looked to me like he thought he might have had it. And maybe the collision with the fence caused it to leave the yard. It's home run number 15. 66 driven in. A line drive rocket. Let's take a look, because it looked to me like it did have a good piece of the glove on its way out. Eibner went back. I think he thought he made this catch. The timing is perfect. But when he hit the wall, the ball just trickled off the end of the glove for a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, on the reach back.
Yep.
Change the angle. And it gets over the fence on a laser the opposite way for Abreu. For the Sox first lead in the series, and another generous donation from the Alex Stelias family in loving memory of Ursula with that home run. That's a good sign. Abreu with a line drive homer the opposite way.
Well, he went up there with an idea what he wanted to do, and Detweiler stayed away. Jose went that way.
Healy at third on the charge, and the throw. And out number 3. But the Sox are on the board first. Jose Abreu with home run number 15 and a 1-0 lead. Field, the sun is doing everything it can to sneak out from behind the clouds. And metaphorically, it already has. The Sox lead 1-0.
And literally.
Well, yeah, but it's even more quaint when it's metaphorical and such.
Okay.
You're more of a simile guy?
I'm
you
more
like or as?
I'm more of the fact that when the sun pops out, it's kind of nice. Especially when you have no delays and you don't interrupt Chris Sale, who I think is going to whip up a gem here tonight.
You feel it?
Yeah. I think it's time for him to win his 15th. I know he is more than ready to win number 15.
He's got a fastball strike to Healy, Ryan Healy, the 24-year-old third baseman. Chris Sale with that last win in early July. Right-hand side. Abreu gives way to Sanchez, and Carlos has out number 1. Come to our next Sox social game Saturday, August 27th, as we add a social media spin to Star Wars night. All fans who register will receive a special Star Wars themed Adam Eaton t-shirt, Adam Ewok, and have the chance to win other great prizes all night long. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/social. Adam Ewok throws people out from the outfield as well.
17 times with 22 defensive runs saved, which is a huge total. Adam Eaton's having a banner year, could very well turn into a Gold Glove in right field.
Who else you got, if not Adam Eaton, as a Gold Glover?
Well, let's see.
I don't think I've got anybody.
Springer's pretty good. I don't think he's had near as good a year as Adam, however, but George Springer can certainly go get him. Who else might we have?
Ponder. 2-1 in the air, right field. Jason Coates.
Well, I am pondering that. I will tell you something that's somewhat unbelievable, and I don't think that Chris set out to do this by design. He's used his changeup just 7% of the time in 2-strike counts this year. That's the second lowest of the 52 qualified starting pitchers in the league. League average on a changeup with 2 strikes is 22.4. So Chris has got a very good changeup, but when he gets to 2 strikes, he just decides to usually go with that hard slider. If it's a right-hander, well, it really doesn't matter. He'll go with the hard slider for strikeouts.
That jibes with his changeup total for the year in all counts, which is below 15% after he had gone last year well over 20%. He's nearly half the changeups this year than he was, and whether that's his decision, whether that's catchers, whether it's a different season, that's what the numbers bear out. What do you think it is?
I think it's just the way he feels. I mean, he knows each and every time out what the game plan is going to be. And when he's feeling pretty good with that fastball, he'll go with that. And because his slider is his most unhittable pitch, when that's good, you go with that, 2 varieties of it. So it's just, I think it's happenstance more than anything else, more than going out there by design and not throwing it.
That was close, but the plate umpire, Sam Holbrook, had it right.
Very close, and Yano Navarro shows you that it wasn't a strike as he moves his glove back into the zone.
That one was close. That 2-2 caught a corner of that square. 3-2. That's inside, ball 4. The closest one, though maybe not to the naked eye, the closest one, according to Xfinity Pitch Tracks, was the 2-2 pitch.
So Leibner's walk keeps it alive. He came over from Kansas City. Billy Burns going to the Royals. And Eibner, who's got pretty good power, coming to Oakland.
He bats in front of Yonder Alonso, the first baseman who's hitting 8th tonight, in large part because there's a lefty on the mound. He's only .208 against left-handers this year. There's an interesting trade, Eibner for Burns.
Well, Kansas City apparently wanted more speed. Burns can give him that. far as Eibner was concerned, he does possess a lot of power. But Kansas City at the time they made the deal was thinking about making a run at it, and they figured the experience of Burns, the speed of Burns, probably, and especially I think they caught him, especially because Lorenzo Cain has had a hamstring problem. I think that factored into the fact that they need an outfielder with speed.
Because when Gordon was hurt, Eibner was the guy that they reached to.
Yeah, I mean,
in AAA.
Well, I was going to say you can play him on a corner, but they were looking at a substitute. It turned out to be Paulo Orlando has played center field, as Cain has played some right, but they wanted that insurance policy of a guy that could go get him and steal bases.
2-1 on Alonso. Right field side, Sanchez, Coates, and it's Jason Coates swerving into the picture for round number 3. 2 on 1, does no damage to Sale. It's 1-0 Sox.
Who is having a great year. He's on the DL with a fractured right thumb. Matt Holliday, another big loss on the DL. He's got a fractured left thumb. The injury report is brought to you by Dr. Anthony Romeo Orthopedics. If you have any shoulder or elbow problems, go to RomeoOrthopedics.com or call 312-432-2342.
And in an ultimately unshocking situation, the Cardinals are in the wild card spot even with those injuries that have cropped up recently.
It's pretty amazing to me. I mean, they've had a wonderful organization for a long time, and just when you think they're going to run out of players because guys get older, get hurt, they just bring up other guys from their minor league system. They've been doing it for years, and the fact that they're competitive with what they've been through this year is absolutely amazing. Factor that in with the fact that they've won 5 games in a row.
Not even the injuries exclusively. How about the fact that their closer, Trevor Rosenthal, was so ineffective that they don't know where to put him?
Well, the thing with him, for the most part, he was a one-pitch pitcher. And when you're not throwing it to a spot with that one pitch, you've got some problems.
3-1 from Detweiler to Todd Frazier, who got the benefit of pitch number 2 in this sequence. Frazier lofts it to right field. Eibner drifting, still going. Oh my!
Yeah, the wind is fierce tonight. I mean, you can't feel it all that much at home plate, but the wind is blowing toward the left field corner. You can see this ball drifting. It's drifting to his right. He's going into right center. We saw the ball that Melky caught almost leave the ballpark.
Did you see Smolitsky just sitting there laughing at him? Like, glad it's you, not me.
Just go get him. I'll give you all the room you need.
You have my moral support. Strike 1 to Morneau. slugging at .500 so far in his White Sox career, and a strong start for Justin, who had 5 extra base hits on that road trip.
He swung it well, and he was hitting the ball all over, which is a very good sign.
To left field this time, Chris Davis gets to battle the gusts for out number 2. Sunday, August 28th is Husky Day at U.S. Cellular Field. Purchase tickets using the Northern Illinois University ticket code to receive a ticket voucher for a White Sox NIU co-branded hat. Northern Illinois University, your future, our focus. Purchase your tickets at whitesox.com/NIU.
You know, Jason was talking about the fact that he's been an everyday player every place he's been, and now he's got to get used to sitting on the bench.
Coach,
and,
that is.
Yeah, coach, rather. Sitting on the bench and becoming a pinch hitter every now and then.
Off Detweiler's glove, Simeon. Safe at first. Yeah, when you're talking about Jason Coates, he said, look, I don't feel the pressure anymore. I'm kind of loosening up here in the majors.
Well, it's a change for him. As you watch Simeon, now he didn't have a chance to round this off. If he actually could round it off where he could throw as soon as it got to the glove, he would have got him. But he caught the ball the left side of his body because of the deflection, and then couldn't get it across to the throwing hand in time to get it. But the point that Jason was making was that when you're an everyday player, it's pretty easy. You keep your rhythm. You can do whatever it is you need to do on a daily basis, and you know how to play that kind of game. But coming to the major leagues where you're not going to play every day, when you're going to be used every now and then, and as a late pinch hitter in ball games, you got to find a way to stay loose and adjust to that role. It's not the easiest adjustment, but he said he's getting more comfortable with it.
Well, one of the things he's done, he said, is he'll go into the batting cage when he's on the bench, 5th or 6th inning, just to take some hacks, try to get loose.
So I think you have to, because he realizes that you're not going to get in the game early as a pinch hitter. It's going to come usually 7th, 8th, or 9th inning for him.
Not everyone can be Lenny Harris with his 212 career pinch hits.
Lenny Harris was really good, and that's such a tough job when you consider you're coming off the bench. More times than not, you're facing the other team's either best setup man or their closer. And, you know, you don't have a whole lot of softies. It's not like you're getting the 5th starter or you're getting the middle reliever or the first guy out of the pen. You're not getting that guy. You're getting the guys that are paid considerable amount of money to get you out late in the game.
You're getting Andrew Miller, who Coates doubled off of the other night. Cracked down the right field side by Navarro. Foul.
Would have been a run, but unfortunately that ball sliced just outside the line.
Can't beat the drama of a foul ball into the corner, though.
We'll take a look. And the fan, can't make the catch.
Oh boy.
It was a battle.
It's a long road.
That little guy was, I think he had the inside track. He was sneaky.
Navarro this time keeps it fair. It's a base hit. Coates sprinting for third. Coates is saved. 1st and 3rd with 2 down.
The guy that used to play that position, you couldn't run on. But that guy is not around anymore, and that's Josh Reddick. Reddick had one of the best arms. They traded him away. And Eibner has a chance to cut down Coates at third base. But this throw is way off the mark. And actually, Healy did a nice job of coming up with it, making sure that Navarro couldn't go to second. That was not a good head-first slide.
Yeah.
He looked a touch like a lawn dart.
The good money is on Jason Coates never experiencing a slip and slide before.
Well, I think he's got a smile on his face because he realized, number one, he is entirely healthy coming away with a slide like that, because it's very easy to jam your your hand, your finger, your wrist. He didn't do any of them.
Looks like he fell asleep face down at the beach. 2 strikes on Sanchez. Fouled away by Carlos.
Detweiler threw that ball a good 6 inches up over the strike zone. Carlos fouled it off to stay alive.
All this with 2 out in the inning, nobody on. Coates the single on the infield. Navarro is singled to right. 2 strikes from Detweiler. And that one's lasered into left field. The Sox double their lead. Carlos Sanchez drives in his 3rd.
He got a hold of a soft breaking ball and took it through the left side. So after staying alive on a pitch well out of the zone, he got that curveball down and drilled a base hit, just his 3rd run batted in this year. And a nice early lead for Chris Sale.
Jason Coates goes to check in with the bleach department. And Anderson, a ground ball foul.
Well, in previous days in this game, you might see a blown up picture of that particular slide in your locker the next day. They catch you just as you plant and then kind of ease into the rest of your slide. You really don't slide. It's kind of like you got stuck and you wind up at the bag somehow.
It was Mike Napoli earlier this year that went head and torso long into 3rd about 2 months ago here. That was a Hughley slide too.
Well, with a little wetness in the infield.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, we'll go with the wetness.
Anderson stays alive. You pitchers had it easy. You didn't have to worry about all that sliding stuff for the most part. That's the picture?
That's like the face plant or whatever you might call it. Just scrambling to get to the bag. Look at the right arm. The right arm is twisted under him. Please, he's got to work on some technique. But you don't get points for technique.
Yeah, it's tip foul thanks to our grand crew.
That's a good shot, guys.
Yeah, they're making it easy for the laminators in that Sox dugout and clubhouse.
Tim said he was starting to feel a whole lot more comfortable at bat, swinging at more strikes than he's been swinging at. But he's seeing a whole lot of these guys for the first time. You can look at them on tape all you want, but the video can't tell you how things move.
Fastball off the plate.
Detweiler throws mostly fastballs. Fastball is okay, anywhere from 92 to 94. But he's got to throw it in the zone to be effective. He's got to make good pitches, not just strikes, good strikes.
Anderson on the ground, right side, trickling through. Navarro around 3rd, and he scores easily. It's 3-0.
That time he got that curveball, it was a strike, and he took it through the right side. So he's driven in 18 runs as things get a whole lot better. You see the curveball? It has a good piece of the plate. Tim just takes it through the right side.
It's 2 RBI singles back-to-back on curveballs against Detweiler here in the inning. 2 strike curveballs, no less.
Yep. That's Kurt Young, who had his say. He went to the mound.
So 4 straight hits with 2 down, and Eaton the batter against Detweiler. And he bunts it foul.
That looked like he was trying to drag it right at Pinder at second base, who was playing up the middle. He's also a big second baseman, so in this, his first major league game, he probably is not looking for the bunt. Had Adam been able to get it to the right side, would have been a base hit, but he didn't.
And so we do 0-1. Was pretty much down Main Street, 0-2.
Well, Texas Rangers, who seem intent on getting every player who's available, just signed Carlos Gomez. Signed him to a minor league contract. He'll report to Round Rock in AAA. Probably be up in a few days.
They've dealt with injuries off and on this year to Shin-Soo Choo. They've got the fielder injury. He's done for his career.
It looks to me like Choo might be done for the season. They inserted a plate into his forearm where he got hit by a pitch. So yeah, they've had some problems. Then they picked up Beltran from the Yankees, and in one of his early games there, he hurt himself. Had to be taken out.
1-2. Back to Detweiler. Eaton slams his bat. Detweiler concludes the second inning, but the Sox tap him for 2 on 4 straight hits. 3-0 after 2. Lead over the Oakland Athletics here at U.S. Cellular Field. By the way, there's nothing more difficult than feeding a television crew, and we'd like to thank our new sponsor, Bona Beef, for the combos, the beef sandwiches, the peppers, the juice.
The Jardiniere.
That looked real good. And notably, our invitations were lost in the mail.
Well, I think they were very quickly running out of sausage. They know your proclivity for Italian sausage.
Thank you. Sale! The extendo arm. That's why you're as tall as you are, Chris. All 6'6" coming into play, and out number 1.
In his first major league at bat, Pinter doesn't hit it quite high enough on the first hop. He's bidding for a base hit, but Chris Sale has other ideas. And he will remember that first major league at bat his entire life, regardless of how long he plays, regardless of how successful he is.
If he only would have done it against somebody, say 3 or 4 inches shorter,
yeah,
would have been a double.
Could have
as
hit
the story will go.
Could have hit it over my head easily.
Ball and a strike. on Simeon. So yeah, thanks to Bona Beef for feeding the crew.
Very nice.
They
did a
deserve
good
it.
job.
They work very, very hard to get this production on the TV screens. 1-1 to Simeon. He's upstairs 2-1. I don't know that people realize at home how many folks we have working on our TV crew. There are just hordes upon hordes of people.
Hundreds, seemingly hundreds.
Yeah.
They do the work of hundreds.
They do. 2-1 is popped foul, and I'm reminded by our producer John Walgren that there are more workers in the truck and outside when there's free food.
They came from all over the neighborhood for that. Marcus Semien had a problem with errors last year, made 35 of them. And Ron Washington, every day in Oakland, comes out with Marcus Semien and talks to him about infield play. Ron Washington, former manager, now third base coach. This Oakland team, I saw him in Oakland, and I asked him what he was doing. Every day, he has him moving to his left, moving to his right. He has him fielding with one hand. He has him fielding with two. He really smoothed out his footwork especially, and that's what Ron was talking about. Footwork is essential at shortstop.
Golf first base side foul territory. Abreu is on it with a second down of this third inning. Ron loves the game. I ran into Ron Washington about a year and a half ago. I was doing the SWAC baseball championship in New Orleans, and Ron was affiliated with the Major League Baseball teaching facility down there, the Youth Academy. And he was just there watching the game, taking in the game. We talked to him for a while before the game and during the game, and he couldn't get enough of it down in New Orleans.
Yeah, I've known Ron for a long time, and he's a very good guy, and he really understands this game. So, you know, he had a good run in Texas. As we all have a few problems, he had a few problems, and now he's in Oakland. But it doesn't diminish, number one, his abilities as a coach and a teacher. He's very good at that. And he certainly made a huge difference with Marcus Semien.
Winding breaking ball low, 2-0 on Smolinski. Now, part of it is just simply the passion for the teaching, the interest in spending the time in doing it. He clearly has that. Strike call, 2-1.
Well, the White Sox knew. I mean, Marcus, originally a Sox player, coming up through the system, they knew he had some talent. But they had to make a deal. They made a deal. He went to Oakland, and he's gotten progressively better. And that's what you like to see from young players. You like to see them improving with each and every game. He has a games played streak that's going to go by the boards because his wife is expecting. I think she's expecting
very soon,
almost immediately. And when that happens, of course, he's probably going to miss a few games. It's not Ripken-esque, but it's like in the 120s, 130s, maybe consecutive games played.
Just missed. 3-2 on Smolinski.
This has turned into a beautiful night for baseball.
Hasn't it?
It really has.
Three and two. Punched foul. The clouds have parted. The sun streaks the sky. The lovely panorama in Chicago on the weekend of the Air and Water Show.
I can tell because in the building that you have purchased, I just inhabit, you can hear the jets just roar by. It's kind of nice.
No money left for food. It's inside. Ball four. Smolinski. Second 2-out walk for the A's tonight. You know, I can honestly say I was out of town, and Friday when I got back, I didn't realize that the Air and Water Show was going on. So I woke up, I was doing a little work in the home office.
You thought that it was time to head to the air raid shelter?
I thought the sirens were malfunctioning.
Invaded by Canada? What did you think exactly?
It was alarming for a moment.
That's good. Very nice.
Strike one to Danny Valencia.
Well, we'll just have a deal from now on. If, in fact, there is some sort of aggressive action toward the city of Chicago, I'll call you first, and that way you'll know.
And if you're not near your phone at that time?
Oh, that's never happened.
Okay.
I'm always near the phone.
You got to be the only person in the city whose ringtone is bagpipes. That's inside.
Well, it gets my attention.
Sale 48 pitches through 2 2/3. 4 base runners for Oakland tonight. No runners safely to third as yet. 1-1 on Valencia. Fouled off.
You know, in the wintertime, Danny takes some hitting instruction from a former White Sox player, Bobby Molinaro, down in Florida. Bobby, a very good hitter. He had a most unique style of moving both of his feet consistently. I've never seen a guy could move both feet and swing the bat like Molinaro can, but he certainly helped out. And Valencia has crushed the left-handers. That's one of the reasons why he's still in the major leagues.
1-2. He got him. Sale, the strikeout of Valencia. First K for Sale comes in timely fashion to end the top of the third. 3-0 Sox.
The Subway third inning triple play promotion. Text Subway 3 to 97999 right now. 300th texter will win a $30 gift card to Subway restaurants in the Chicagoland area. Subway, fresh is what we do.
Runs are what the Sox do so far tonight. 3-0 bottom third. And Abreu gets a breaking ball for his troubles. Ross Detweiler, who was the Nationals' first-round pick, as you mentioned, Steve, in 2007, in something of a hit or miss top 10 that year. David Price was the first pick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, Mike Moustakas was number 2. Turned out to be a pretty good pick.
Turned out to be a very good pick.
Then Josh Vitters to the Cubs.
Yes, I remember him.
You do?
Yeah, that did not turn out to be a good pick.
Daniel Moscas to the Pirates, the left-hander out of Clemson, who they went from starter to reliever with. Fair ball down the line. Abreu punches it toward the corner and gets those legs churning. It was touched by a fan. It is a ground rule double for Abreu, who's 2 for 2.
Home run and a double, both opposite directions. One to right, this one shot down the line past Healy. And Healy thinks it was a foul ball. I think Detweiler should just take a close look. And we'll see it here. This is not Detweiler should look at.
Well, it's not challengeable.
No, it
isn't. It's in front of the umpire's set position.
You can look at it till the cows come home, but they're not going to take another look. However, on the slowed down look, that appeared to be a foul ball.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. You can challenge it at home if you're an A's fan. Throw your flag at the TV. Make the earmuff.
I definitely.
sign.
would challenge it if it were challengeable. And Detweiler's curveball is getting hammered.
Melky fouls away a fastball. To complete the riff on that first 10, it was Wieters that went 5th.
To Baltimore.
Yeah. Then
That's a pretty good
Detweiler,
pick.
Matt Laporta, who was essentially trade bait forever, no matter where he went. He was the big deadline guy for a long time.
They got him. In fact, it was Laporta and Michael Brantley for CC Sabathia.
Yep.
And Laporta was actually the big guy in that trade. They knew that Brantley was very athletic, and they thought he'd be a decent outfielder, but they didn't think he'd grow into what he's grown into.
Hack to left field. Melky with a 2-strike job down the alleyway. Abreu easily comes home, and Melky, Cabrera, and the Sox have been lethal with 2 strikes tonight. It's 4-0.
55 runs batted in by the Milkman as he splits the gap in left center field. This ball is up and out of the strike zone. Here's an example where Vogt wanted it high. Detweiler threw it high, and Melky loved it in that position.
So 1 in, 1 on. Todd Frazier, the batter. That ball is lined to left. Base hit. Melky stops at third and missed the bag on the way, I believe. He's back.
He's standing on the bag now. There was no way that he was going to score. Davis doesn't have a real good arm in left field, but there's nobody out. And on what to this point appears to be the biggest hit of the ball game, not Frazier singles, and Melky missed the bag by plenty. So it's a good thing that Joe McEwing was not waving him on, because he missed it by a foot.
You could have stacked 3 bags on top of each other.
Still would have missed it.
Princess and the Pea style. As we'll have yet another meeting at the mound.
Another Kurt Young meeting. So there is a surprise down later in that draft that Detweiler was drafted ahead of.
This first pitch swinging stuff is really getting in the way. Casey Weathers to the Rockies 8th. Jared Parker to the Diamondbacks 9th. Then the big one is Madison Bumgarner 10th to the Giants.
And it really shows you, I mean, look, he was going to be a first-round pick, but it shows you that it's not an exact science, because had people realized Bumgarner was going to be as good as he is, there's no way he'd have left it to the 10th pick. And Daniel Colombi loosening up in the pen.
By the way, later in that draft, pick 34, Todd Frazier to the Reds.
Turned out to be a very good pick for them.
Rick Porcello to the Tigers at 27 that year.
There's a story behind that. I'll get to it after this
we
particular
have time.
pitch.
It's only the 3rd inning.
Oh, yeah, no, we have lots of time.
Morneau, 0-2.
Porcello should have been the first 2 or 3 picks, and they let it be known through his agent, I believe it was Scott Boras, that he wasn't going to sign. He was going to go to college and ask for some ridiculous amount of money, which scared everybody off until he got to Detroit's pick, and that's where he did sign, way down in the draft, a lot lower than he normally would.
Morneau's willpower couldn't take over. It's a strikeout for Detweiler, his 2nd. So Detweiler, the 2007 draft pick of the Washington Nationals, who made it as both a starter and a reliever with Washington. He was one of those flex type of guys. Started this season with Cleveland, was designated for assignment. The A's picked him up. That's tapped third base side by Coates, and he drives in a run.
It's a good play by Healy. Jason with his 3rd run batted in. And a lot of people feel that although Healy's playing 3rd now, eventually he'll shift across to first base. But here he makes a fine bare hand throw in the same motion play.
R-Y-O-N, Ryan Healy.
Unusual.
closer to Brandon Lyon than your typical Ryan. Navarro barking for time before the pitch could come. That's a good response to a 9-0 loss. How about 5-0 lead in the home third?
Detweiler's having some problems, especially if they're not grounding out or missing his curveball. Then, I mean, he can't stand out there and throw fastballs all day at 92, 93, because he's probably going to get hurt with it because there's not a great deal of movement.
When Ross was in AAA, had him for a couple years in Syracuse, and one of the years Randy Knorr, the former Blue Jays catcher, was the manager, and Detweiler was having similar problems, and he was kind of getting frustrated with some flares that were dunking in and some non-solid contact that was causing him trouble. And Randy Knorr said, look, no matter what, if you're not making good two-strike pitches, you're going to end up getting hurt sometimes. Just ball and play can ding you. It's happened in some ways tonight as well. 5-0 Sox after the pop-up. 3 deep tonight.
In favor of a sock puppet. As some of you know, this is Sox night. I'm going to do away with this puppet by bashing him.
No!
Anyway, it's all Sox tonight, both his Sox
What
and
was that?
our Sox. Bashing the sock puppet.
What did you? I didn't see anything. I just got back here.
Hi.
How are you?
Terrific.
Are we on television?
Yes.
Is that how this works?
With Chris Sale bidding for his 15th. I think he's going to be in pretty good shape tonight. He's got a huge early lead, and I think Chris is probably very happy to get the 5 runs.
5-0. Sox with the lead.
That bat will also come into play, by the way, as one of the prizes on our Sox Math prize shelf.
A superhero night was last night, by the way, but thanks for coming, Clark.
A day late, but I'm sure he's not $1 short.
Rare was the day that Superman was a day late. I can't believe what I'm hearing about what you did to that puppet.
Well, look.
Rumors are flying.
It's the least I could do. But very handsome Sox anyway.
Thank you. They darned them just for you. Rip to left. Davis is on with a leadoff single. All right, let's play Sox Math for tonight, shall we? Hashtag Sox Math. First correct answer on Twitter wins a prize off the prize shelf. Some Sox socks for you, a bat, Bill Veck bobbleleg doll. Please wait on Sox Math. Sox Math will be with you in just a moment.
It actually is a loaded prize shelf.
It is. We got a ton of stuff. We got the Stone Altoids, which is always a good seller.
Yeah. So we will show it to you.
You know what? You know what happened? Sox math was in the puppet's pocket. You bashed the puppet into oblivion.
We're going to wait till after this double play, I think.
Healy, it's going to be tough to turn two off that foul ball in the air. Here's your Sox math question for today. Number of triple plays the Sox have turned this year. Multiply Frazier's jersey number. Add the last digit in the year of the Southside Hitmen, and then subtract the position of Southpaw's color in the typical sequence of a rainbow. There are 7 colors in your typical rainbow. What position is Southpaw's color in your typical color spectrum? If we need a hint, maybe we can get a look at Southpaw. Although I think most people know what color Southpaw is.
Yeah, and Southpaw does not make an appearance this early. He always appears fashionably late, somewhere around the 5th or so.
2 strikes on Healy. Are you his secretary?
Yeah, I book all Southpaw's appointments. If you want to meet him, let me know. I'll get in touch with his people.
Ball and 2 strikes on Healy. Sox leading 5-0 with a run in the first, 2 more in the second, 2 in the third.
Athletics believe that Healy's got a chance to be a pretty good player. They're giving him every opportunity to show that.
There's strike 3. Tied him up inside. Sale's second strikeout. K-Zone lively tonight.
This is his hard slider low and in, and Healy has no chance. Probably was the best that Chris has thrown tonight.
You said it. He throws couple different types of those sliders.
He does. So, I mean, if you guess slider, that's one thing, but guessing the velocity which is coming is going to be something else.
Strike to Vogt at 94.
You want to be able to fool hitters with the only 2 things you can fool them with. One is location, the other is velocity. If it's always the same velocity, then you only have location. If you make a mistake, then you're pretty easy to hit. But Chris does change speeds, even on his fastball. Makes him one of the toughest guys around to hit.
0-1. In the air and foul right side. Hear a lot about spin rate and things like that. Pitchers are thinking maybe more than before about the type of spin and the spin rate on the ball.
Well, it was always of vital importance because the slider or curveball was never a velocity pitch. It was always a rotation pitch. The tighter you can make it spin, the more times you can make it spin, the better the break. So now they're just quantifying that. And that's, that will show the pitchers who might have had some problems with the concept. They'll show them that a better breaking ball has a much higher spin rate. And it's up to the pitcher to be able to do that.
So you're saying it's almost like a guidepost.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been known, but nobody's been able to quantify it until recently.
Just outside. 2-2 on Stephen Vogt. Davis at first with a leadoff single. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball in the air. Center field, Eaton on the run. It carries, and Adam does too. 2 away.
Give you an idea about how much a factor the wind is, and Adam is looking over at Jason Coates, and he cut straight across. Seemingly, he was going to make the play. You'll see him cut straight across, and then he has to go almost straight back because the wind keeps taking it farther and farther out, almost to the track. But Adam was able to make the play. And the wind is blowing toward left center. Really is carrying the ball tonight. Now it shifts a little bit, but still very lively.
Those flags sometimes can lead you down a blind alley in this ballpark, though.
True, because of the swirling, comes in over the wall, either in left and right, and hits the stands and swirls back out the other direction. Oh, and 1 for Eibner.
He takes a strike. 0-2. Yeah, it's impressive watching Chris Sale pick off spots on edges. He's missed by an inch or a couple on 2-strike pitches a few times tonight, but there, what are you going to do with that pitch on 0-1?
You know, there might have been a time when he didn't have control, but when he came in to professional baseball and then quickly to the major leagues, he's always had very good control.
0-2. High fastball just missed. If it did.
A little something extra on that one, and maybe tip the top of the zone. You're not going to get that call too often, however.
But why not, Uncle Steve? It's in the zone.
A debatable in the zone. I would have wanted it, of course, but
Close again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Umpires get their scores after every game on how they did behind the plate. Their goal is to call the zone as it's in the book, as you see it on Xfinity Pitch Tracks. Third base, Frazier to the backhand and the short way for out number 3. Leadoff single. Sails through it again. 5-0 Sox after 3.5.
WGNTV.com, sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your local nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 38 years. To join the nation, visit jeffvuk.com because Nationwide is on your side.
Carlos Sanchez leads off the bottom of the 4th. Strike taken from Ross Detweiler. Thank you for joining us wherever you may be tonight. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti, our entire crew from the ballpark. Sanchez a flare to right field, and Eibner is on the case for out number 1. Join the White Sox in honoring Chicago area police and fire departments Thursday, August 25th for Police and Fire Night. First 10,000 fans receive a Police and Fire Night commemorative t-shirt presented by UL. For more than a century, UL has been committed to fire safety. Learn more at ul.com/fire. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/PDFD or call 866-SOX-GAME. Always a fun night.
Would you say that that looked like some nachos that young lady was enjoying?
It did, yeah. Looked very tasty. Are you one of those guys that likes you like nachos with everything? Cheese, chili,
I like
lettuce, tomato.
I like nachos with nothing.
Just corn
Call them
chips.
chips. Yes.
That's it?
That's it.
We got to get you a new diet. Simeon at shortstop. retires Anderson, who's now 1 for 3. 2 down in the fourth.
You can just tell that Marcus is getting a whole lot better. He moves easily to either side. And that is pretty much teaching him the footwork that Ron Washington did.
We got an answer for you for Sox Matt for tonight. Triple plays is 3. Frazier's jersey is 21. That's 63. Last digit in the year of Southside Hitmen was 7. That makes 70. And Southpaw is green, so the G in Roy G. Biv is the answer. It's 4. 66. Congratulations to Tyler for the win. Simeon at short. Slick play. Didn't get him. Eaton's too fast. On an infield ground ball, 2-out single.
Marcus got to it quickly enough, and then on one knee tried to skip it across. But Adam, hustling down the line, beats the play easily at first.
One on, 2 out. Abreu, who has scalded the ball a couple of times tonight. He's 2 for 2. 2 runs, a double, and a homer.
Using the whole field, it's very encouraging as things start to pick up. Jose has been hitting them very well lately.
So in his last 17 games, Abreu has at least 1 hit in 15 of them. And if there's one notable number for the year, he's only hit lefties at 191 coming into tonight. He's 2 for 2 now against Detweiler, the lefty, this evening.
So now you'll see him get the 3-0 green light. If he gets one to his liking, he'll be looking for his second home run.
Why not, right? 5-0.
Just let him go.
3-0. That's ball 4.
The 2 runs in the second came after 2 out and nobody on with 4 straight singles. So Detweiler got the first 2 out this inning. Only to see Eaton and Abreu reach base.
Ball on to Melky. Doubled in a run in the third, scored a run as well. And he goes down to punch this to right. Eaton around third, no throw coming home. The Sox pour it on a Saturday evening. It's 6-0.
Melky, 2 runs batted in tonight, 56 for the year. That's a fastball on the outer third, and Melky takes it to right field. More two out troubles for Ross Detweiler.
2-out homer in the first. 2-out, 4 straight hits in the second. 2-out rally here in the fourth.
Offense certainly has come to life after the 9th shutout of the year last night. That one you had to give to Kendall Graveman because there weren't a lot of teams that could hit him with the stuff he threw last night.
And you hear it from the Sox hitters. It wasn't electric stuff in velocity, but the way the ball was moving, the way he was cutting the fastball was impressive. And the left-hander Daniel Coulombe once again getting loose for Oakland.
That one almost gets away.
2-1 to Frazier. Abreu and Cabrera are on. Detweiler with 2 down. Todd's former team has gotten itself out of last place.
They've actually, since the All-Star break, played pretty solid baseball.
Cincinnati up to 52-69 entering play today. 2-2. Smoked foul.
Just missed, but missed by enough. Kind of a great story out of Cincinnati as we take a look at this line drive. Clearly foul.
Pitcher Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah, he hit a home run last night. Very rarely will you see a reliever get a chance to hit. And he came up, hit a home run, and it wasn't too long, well, actually a matter of days, where his father had passed away. Very emotional for him, very emotional for the Reds.
His dad Cliff passed away. Lorenzen was on the bereavement list, just activated. Talked to Todd about it before the game. He said he could swing it in batting practice. Not a big surprise, but he hit it 400 feet. 6-0 Sox.
An official White Sox debit card, only available through local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
If there's anything that Steve and I enjoy, it is a free meal. And if there's anything we enjoy any more than a free meal, it's getting to share that meal with some White Sox fans who were part of the White Sox broadcast auction a couple of months ago. Jim and his brood were the winners. Great to meet them. Steve was holding court while eating some mashed potatoes.
And I asked the fellow to my right what he did. He said he's an IT guy, which is good. But then he didn't explain to us anything else. So what do you think he really does?
Well, I think he was very interested in the scoreboard room.
No doubt.
Got to meet Jeff Chanel and the crew over there. Big White Sox fan, season ticket holder, had participated and bid in the auction in previous years. And thanks to Jim for bringing his crew over to have some dinner with us.
I thought it was really nice, and it's good to see those people that come out here all the time, as he does, and just as frustrated as anybody else by what's happened, but still very optimistic about the future, which is certainly what you like to see from fans, realizing that every year can't be a great year. And we talked about this being an unusual year for this organization with injuries, because Herm Schneider, Brian Ball, Alan Thomas, I mean, they've just done such a great job both in training and conditioning that you're just not used to a lot of injuries. And we've seen a lot of them this year.
Well, if there are any couple injuries that have really hurt, and there's Herm Schneider, who does a magnificent job. If there were two injuries that maybe typify what happened to the Sox throughout the year, it's Jake Petrichka and Zach Putnam.
Yeah,
those are the glue guys in the bullpen.
And they both, when healthy, throw the ball with accuracy, movement, and losing them made it really difficult for the pen.
Flip to left, Melky leans into out number 1. Tee off for charity. Enjoy Chicago White Sox charities for the Field of Green Celebrity Golf Tournament presented by Miller Lite. This year's tournament will be held on Monday, August 22nd at Harborside International Golf Center. Sign up your foursome at WhiteSoxCharities.org or call 312-674-5391. Saw Sarah and Lauren downstairs doing their organizational thing and getting ready for that golf tournament. They do a wonderful job with Christine's group and community relations. But on the bullpen situation, the Sox have played so many 1- or 2-run games and have for a couple years now. You end up in a situation with so many tight games early, you have to use the big guns in the bullpen.
Well, early, the bullpen was outstanding. Better part of the first 6 weeks of the season, nobody hit the bullpen at all. And then as things moved on and injuries piled up, the bullpen has had its rough spots, but by and large, it's been pretty good. It's just hard to overcome a couple of key injuries to your pensmen. There's a look at David Robertson on the left, Matt Albers on the right.
You never know what the bullpen guys are doing in game. That's a free-for-all out there.
Probably studying each and every hitter. Want to know just exactly who they're going to face.
High-fiving periodically.
The high five, yes, periodic high five.
They're a good band too. Periodic high five. 2-2. And Sale fans Pinder. Third strikeout for Chris.
Well, the K zone should take heart because Chris, the 2016 variety, has gotten most of his strikeouts as the game moves along. Doesn't get too many early. Content to let guys hit the first pitch or to get out of trouble, not using his best stuff until things move along. And that's when the strikeouts start to pile up.
Ball 1 to Simeon. 5 in a row retired by Sale. Two and 0 to the A's leadoff man. Into center field. It hangs up for Eaton. And a 1-2-3 inning for Chris Sale. Hard to believe. It's his first of the night. He's got a shutout going. 6-0.
access to over 45,000 fee-free ATMs nationwide. And it's the AT&T Call to the Pen, brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And it is Daniel Coulomb on for the 22nd time. He's 1-1. His ERA 4.78. But opponent's hitting 226. That's a pretty good number.
Left-hander gets the lefty Morneau first. Breaking ball, smack foul.
Tough outing for Ross Detweiler. 4 innings, 6 runs on 10 hits, a walk and 2 strikeouts. And most of his problems coming with 2 outs and nobody on.
Coulomb traded to the A's September of last year for cash from the Dodgers. You always wonder in those sorts of deals, the fly ball center field and playable for Smolinski.
You wonder how much cash?
Well, how does the cash get there? Do you wire it? Do you share routing numbers?
No, they actually give it to a courier who puts it in a big bag and takes it to the other team.
The Jim Courier?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they do.
Is that?
I think. No,
put
actually,
it in a
that's not what
giant
they
duffel
do.
bag.
Yes.
Put it on your doorstep, ring the bell, and run away.
Right. You find out where the owner lives. You drop it on his doorstep at night, and the deal's completed.
You ever heard of how that happens, though? We gotta ask.
It's wired.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Sure it's not bills?
I don't
20,
think so.
20, 20, 20, kind of like Jim Perry on Sale of the Century?
Yeah, but I mean, if the cash was $100, it'd be pretty easy. But usually it's a little bit more than that.
2 strikes on Jason Coates.
And there's a young man interested in this ball game.
A hook for ball 1 to Coates.
There's a young lady who has to be attending, if not her first game. Certainly it's in the top 5.
Season ticket holder. Buys them every year.
Yeah, it looks like she might have come along right around spring training when things were looking really good.
2-2 on Coates. Tied him up, strike 3. Calling all Star Wars fans. White Sox are proud to present Star Wars Night at the ballpark Saturday, August 27th, when the White Sox take on the Mariners. First 10,000 fans get a free Southpaw Star Wars bobblehead complete with lightsaber. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/Star Wars. There is the paw in replica form. We have a paw on the shelf.
Yeah, we have a bobblehead paw.
Bobble paw.
Looks good.
Navarro's 1 for 2 with a run scored on a base hit to right in the second. He came around on the Anderson single 2 batters later.
So the hits have been spread out very liberally throughout the lineup. In fact, the only man without a hit in this still relatively early game is Justin Morneau, who's 0 for 3. Everybody else has at least 1 single.
Strike 2 and 1 on Navarro. Sox will play Oakland for 3. Game 3 tomorrow, a 1:10 start time. Then a day off, 2 with Philly, then 4 against the Seattle Mariners, who are right in the thick of the wild card race.
Mariners are playing good baseball. And their resurgence has taken them past Houston, which for a while looked like they might make a run to Texas.
Catcher Vogt holds on, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Coulomb out of the bullpen. 6-0 Sox with the lead after 5 tonight. Soul's deck at U.S. Cellular Field is accessible from the 100, 300, and 500 levels. Young Sox fans can learn baseball from White Sox Training Academy coaches in batting and pitching cages, base running areas. And you can check out the latest Xfinity technology, including the X1 platform. X1 by Xfinity. It'll change the way you experience TV. I believe over in that area they're going to have the peanut butter and banana sandwiches on Elvis night. Those will be around the ballpark.
You especially requested those.
Have you ever had one?
Well, no. Outside of the fact that I don't really care for peanut butter. I like my bananas plain. And bread is terribly fattening.
Folks at home are.
So I'll take a banana, thank you.
Putting this whole season together, I don't think folks at home think you eat anything, which may or may not be true. 2-0 on Smolinski from Sale. We told you about all the close games the Sox have played this year. 121 games so far. 69 have been 1 or 2 run games, including 40 of the last 62, which puts the Sox on pace for 92 games in that category. Bash to right center. Eaton on the run. Adam Eaton face first into the wall, and the catch for out number 1.
Great play by Adam Eaton. Whether he's playing right or center field, he can go get him, and he had a long run and an abrupt stop. Smolinski drove this ball to the deepest recesses of the park. Adam knows that he's going to hit the wall because he took a look at where he was. He drifts across, backhands it, hits the wall, but makes the play. Chris Sale, a very, very happy starting pitcher.
And an exhale for Sale. 1 down for Valencia. Into left. Melky's back. And Melky's there. 2 down.
The difference in that one was if that had been a fastball, there's a really good chance Valencia would hit it out of the park. But because Chris Stewart at 87, he had Valencia out on his front foot. He hit that ball seemingly off the end of the bat. And it was because of not location, because it was right there, knee high over the middle of the plate. It was velocity. And he was strong enough to take it deep to left field, but for him, not deep enough. Good pitch by Chris Sale.
That's 8 in a row set aside by Sale, dating back to this guy's single in the 4th, Chris Davis, who goes at dancing.
Yeah, made him skip the rope there. This is not a particularly big guy, but Davis is very strong.
You know, we're talking about
I think Navarro got hit.
He's holding his iron. And he'll go talk to Sale. We were talking about those close games that the Sox have played as Navarro works out the pain. Puts the Sox on pace for those 92 games of 1 or 2, and we'll take a look at Navarro. He kind of bent his wrist back.
He's holding his elbow.
Here's a look. Sox are on pace for 92 of these. All-time single-season record is 101 by the 68 Dodgers, and all the way down to 100 from the 1980 Pirates. So the Sox are in very close to select company in number of close games if they stay on pace with where they are.
Well, don't forget, you got 2 aces as 40% of your starting rotation in Sale and Quintana. So they're going to probably get more than their share of very close games. And then with Carlos Rodon getting better seemingly with each start, it becomes a close game when he pitches. So you can understand why it would be really important playing that many close games to execute and do the little things that enable you to take the 90 feet away and not give it away to the opposition.
Little things like base running, throwing to the correct base,
making sure your throw is low enough so it can be cut off.
Sox fantasy camp coming up. Chris Sale 5 2/3.
No runs with a couple of walks and 3 strikeouts.
Sale's not happy. It's ball 4. Davis has been the last 2 base runners for Oakland. By the way, that's 3 walks for Sale tonight. They've all come with 2 out.
Most unusual for Chris.
This update from AAA Charlotte, a dispatch from the International League. Avi Garcia has begun his Major League rehab assignment, and he is 1 for 3 against the venerable Buffalo Bisons. 1 for 3 with a walk for Avi. Brett Lawrie still rehabbing with AA Birmingham.
And Carson Fulmer had his first start in an effort to stretch him out to get him ready to come back as a starter in September. Things didn't work out very well, didn't have good stuff. His first look at AAA was not all that successful. He pitched 1 inning.
You may recall Carson Fulmer came directly to Chicago from Birmingham, skipped AAA. As you see, guys do much more nowadays than previously. A lot of the young prospects are in AA rather than in AAA.
That's been the case, certainly. And AAA now is your insurance policy. Some of their older guys who you will bring up if you have an injury. But yeah, the prospects are stacked up in AA across the major leagues.
2 strikes on Healy, who's on a 6-game hit streak, trying to solve Sale here. Just a lovely night for baseball at U.S. Cellular Field this evening. Thanks for stopping by wherever you may be. 0-2. And he got him downstairs. The helmet takes the brunt of it for Healy. Sale with strikeout number 4. And a bagel on the board for the A's.
By logging on to WGNTV.com and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner for the latest stats and information. Sox Game Zone is powered by Dodd Camera, family owned for 125 years, handling all your photographic needs. Dodd Camera, where the focus is on you.
6-0 Sox. What happened in the fifth? Didn't get a run there. Had at least one in the first, second, third, and fourth. And a strong night for the offense. By the way, we would like for you to do that. What's on that guy's shirt? Please do it. Thank you. Sanchez, a lob to right field. Brett Eibner for out number 1. Time now for America's fastest growing sensation. It's back to the top spot. It's called Sticks and Stone, where we ask you how you did against somebody in Major League Baseball. And tonight it is Mitchell Page.
Yeah, I probably should have done a lot better, but I faced him a lot. He was a left-hander. Some decent power, not really a home run hitter. I do remember having my share of difficulties with him. I'm just very happy that you guys didn't put up Reggie Jackson.
Why is that?
Because that wasn't good.
It's ugly?
Not good, no.
How bad are we talking?
Well, not Jim Rice bad, but bad.
Kuiper bad?
A few more home runs, I believe, than Dwayne.
But not per capita.
No, and you know his brother works on the other side.
That's
Glenn
right.
Kuiper.
They've cornered the market on Bay Area television.
In the Bay Area, yes, indeed.
Ball to strike. Nice breaking ball, 1-2.
That's a really good combination they have. Dwayne Kuiper, Mike Krukow. Very good for the San Francisco Giants. John Miller is over
John
there.
Miller, yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Anderson. Daniel Coulomb, who's been up and back a couple of times to Nashville this year in AAA. It's a foul ball right side. The Nashville team is actually a first place team in AAA for the Oakland Athletics. Steve Scarsoni, the manager of the Nashville Sounds.
Long-time major leaguer. Most of the time a swing player, but he was pretty good at times with the Giants.
By the way, AAA Charlotte for the Sox only a half game out of first as well in the International League South Division. At 56-71. Half game out of first.
Boy,
it's been a lean year in the IL South.
I guess. It would appear that the boys are getting tattooed by the North.
Strike 3. Coulomb has retired all 5 he's faced. Here's the number on Mitchell Page from Steve Stone.
Yeah, see, 286. A couple of home runs. Walked him 4 times because I didn't want him to hit any more home runs. On base percentage, pretty good. Yeah, he did well.
Yeah, he did.
He did. That's impressive.
Tip your cap.
I felt that was the case.
2 out. And strike 1 to Eaton.
Coulomb has got good stuff tonight. I mean, his curveball looks very good. He's fanned 3 in an inning and 2/3.
One strike to Eaton. And he wraps it to second. Pinder to his left to record the out. 6 deep tonight. Sox pitching a shutout, 6-0. Top of the 7th inning at U.S. Cellular Field. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone, a cast of thousands. Thanks for joining us wherever you may be this lovely Saturday evening as Chris Sale has successfully made it through 6 without allowing a run. And winds in a strike to Stephen Vogt, the left-handed catcher.
Vogt's been a pretty good player. And when your manager starts you against Chris Sale, if you're left-handed, you know they think very highly of you because this is not usually a comfortable at bat.
Vogt takes a strike, 1-2. Stephen Vogt, by the way, who does a tremendous impersonation of Chris Farley's old character, Matt Foley, the motivational speaker. And he will be in a van down by the river after that strikeout. 1 down.
He just threaded the needle on the outside corner. And Vogt, a strikeout victim. You had to look at Bob Melvin, the skipper of this Oakland ball club. They really like him out there, and why not? He happens to be a terrific manager, was a bench coach, and helped win the World Series in 2001 with the Diamondbacks. Bob Brenly was a manager. Bob Melvin, the bench coach.
Well, this A's team is used to going to the playoffs. Before last year, it was 3 straight seasons in the postseason. And this year has been a quiet year in the win column for the Athletics, at 53-69 entering play tonight. Next ball at 94, ball and a strike.
It's going to get a whole lot harder for them to make it to the playoffs because Seattle is much better. Texas considerably better than they've been. And of course, the Angels down. They're having some problems. And you know, you've got Houston out there. So it's going to be very difficult in their division. Their division has gotten much tougher the last few years.
You wouldn't imagine the Angels would be down for long. There's talent. There have been injury issues, and they kind of have to get themselves out from under that Pujols contract.
They don't have a real strong farm system at this point. Now, I'm sure, like most teams, they're working on that, but not a whole lot of help on the horizon. The one thing that they can do is, because they draw pretty well, they can probably spend some money on some players.
One and two, Sale to Eibner. This is pitch number 101 tonight for Chris. And it's outside.
Right, the backdoor breaking ball, and that one just stayed way outside.
Chris with that just otherworldly start to the year. 9 starts, 9 wins to open the season. Pop up, and Navarro slides safely.
It was really the only play that he could make, knowing that the wall was coming up awfully quick.
Two and two, Sale to Eibner, who's actually 2 for 4 career against Chris, having seen him as a member of the Royals this year. Navarro tried to help him. That was well outside. 3 and 2.
Just reached back, got a little something extra on that fastball, but missed high and wide. Under Alonso in the on-deck circle.
Tagged the ball last night for a home run. Eibner cannot catch up. Sale at 95 miles an hour has struck out his 3rd straight.
He just threw a fastball right by him. Will Tardy was Eibner. It's an interesting draft the Cincinnati Reds made when they drafted Yonder Alonso with the 7th pick in the 1st round, because their first baseman's pretty good. That's Joey Votto. And at the time, they probably envisioned they would move, or might have to move, Alonso some other place. As it worked out, Votto got everything together, been a terrific player, and Alonso went some other places.
Boy, coming up through the system, though, he was the big name, big power bat. Fouled away, 1-2. I think we've reached capacity in the booth, by the way.
Very nice.
We have roughly 600 people in the booth currently.
Lee Stern and family have made their appearance.
And yet another set of HF Vikings. You believe that I think everybody is from HF.
Most of the people are from there, yeah.
That's inside. The back bend out of the way for Yonder Alonso. 2-2. Sox lead on the strength of a run in the first, 2 more in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, that's usually one that you'd expect the left-hand hitter to swing at, because there was great movement, late movement, and Alonso somehow was able to check his swing. Actually came across the plate as a strike. But
there's the mortal blow for Yonder Alonso. Took 6 pitches. He got him anyway. Sale strikes out the side. Stretch time in Chicago, 6-0.
Tampa Bay crushing Texas. Baltimore getting hammered by Houston. Kansas City way up on Minnesota.
Well, the Marlins are trying to stay afloat with Stanton injured. The Phillies are actually playing better baseball on their way in to Chicago. They lead the Cardinals tonight. The Mets with another injury to Angel Pagan on the board against San Francisco. That is the Angel Pagan Bowl there. Mets and Giants.
Yeah, Angel, when he can stay healthy, is really good. But unfortunately, his body is broken down quite a bit. So he hasn't stayed healthy as Chris Smith comes in the ball game on for the 4th time. No record, 3.60 ERA, but opponents hitting just 2.22, and that's good.
I was going to say, with on the subject of the Mets, do you see that Bartolo Colon finally took his first major league walk?
He's a swinging kind of guy. Doesn't surprise me.
He had the longest active streak without a walk.
He probably had to throw it behind him.
Two strikes on Abreu. Breaking ball for strike 3 and 1 away.
Lucky with a couple of hits tonight. This one coming in the 3rd inning, and it's a 2-base hit in the gap. It's our Ford drive of the game. Jose Abreu scoring easily. That's brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com.
Oh, 1 to Melky. It's fouled away off of human flesh. Ball and 2 strikes on Melky Cabrera. Sox trying to put up their first win by more than 3 runs since July the 19th.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it. That has been the state of this offense at times. The foam finger, you can't beat it. One of the thrills of coming to the park.
Love a good foam finger. Helps you give directions too.
It's that way. It's easy.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Scrapes out of the way. 3-2. Jose Quintana scheduled to pitch tomorrow for the Sox. Game will be at 1:10. Simeon, 2 down. Live out your dream of becoming a professional baseball player by attending the White Sox Dodgers Fantasy Camp January 15th through the 21st at the spring training home of the White Sox Dodgers at Camelback Ranch in Glendale, AZ. For more info, call the Fantasy Camp hotline 623-302-5078. You can also sign up by going to whitesox.com and clicking on Fantasy Camp. It's always an entertaining week there out in Arizona.
Yeah. Yes, it is. You get the feel of what it's like for major leaguers when they come to camp for usually around 6 weeks.
It's that long, huh?
Certainly pitchers and catchers come in, yeah.
I thought you were saying fantasy camp.
No. Fantasy camp is somewhat shorter. Or it'd be much more expensive.
We keep you there for a long time.
6 weeks. So you get a good feel for it. And of course, by the end of 6 weeks, for the campers, they would all be on the disabled list. You'd have none.
Another nice breaking ball from Smith to retire the side. So the A's bullpen has done the trick tonight. Sox got to the A's early at 6-0.
All Sox tonight, 6-0. They've hit the A's 10-3. Chris Sale's gone 7 strong. You look at those numbers, and Abreu with a line drive home run in the first inning. Get the Honda you love at your Honda Summer Clearance event, now at your Honda dealer.
Chris Sale on for the 8th. He's thrown now 111 pitches. And Pinder has not liked what he's seen. He's grounded back to Sale, and he struck out swinging. One of 7 strikeouts tonight for Chris Sale.
Just working on 4 straight strikeouts.
What do you say, 5? Nope, not yet.
In case the pitch count gets up to where Robin Ventura thinks it might be too much, Nate Jones throwing in the pen. Pitch number 114 on the way.
There is strikeout number 5 in a row.
One of the things we told you early in the game was that Chris doesn't get his strikeouts early these days. He only had 1 through 3 innings. But as the game moves along and he gets a little closer to coming out of it, he's reaching back for whatever he's got. And so far, the Oaklands have no answers.
He cares about winning like the Gladiators used to care about winning.
Yeah, he's a very competitive sort. You mix that in with great stuff. Get yourself a guy who can get it done. And well on his way to number 15. It's been a long drought for him. Not that he hasn't thrown well enough, because he has.
Pop first base side. Sanchez running over Carlos Sanchez. What a play.
Well, that was a long way to go. Carlos, the only man who could get to it. He's calling for it all the way, and he makes the catch. Well, that's a big effort.
He's absolutely a very talented defensive player, Carlos Sanchez.
Yep. Getting a chance to play in the absence of Brett Lawrie.
He's rehabbing in Double-A with the Birmingham Barons. Here's strike 1. Jake Smolinski 1 for 2. That single from back in the days when the A's were getting hits against Chris Sale. Last one came in the 4th.
On our Xfinity pitch tracks, great play by Adam Eaton. Smolinski thinks he has at least a 2-base hit. Eaton takes it away. Speed Replay is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
What will Sale do for his final act tonight? Pitch number 120 is a breaking ball bounce to second. Another 1-2-3 inning for Chris Sale. A beaut tonight. The left-hander from Florida, 6-0 Sox.
Chris Sale, 8 innings, 3 hits, didn't give up any runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. To be determined if he comes out for the 9th. Wrap your hands around the official Italian beef of the Chicago White Sox at one of the 19 Bona locations. And John Axford, the new pitcher for the Oakland A's.
He's the 3rd reliever used tonight by Bob Melvin. And the Oakland side, and Morneau is behind a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Axford, the former Brewers right-hander. 46 saves in 2011.
Yeah, very, very good closer. And apparently, judging by the radar gun, still has a good fastball.
He hadn't given up a run in August until his last outing, which came 4 days ago in Texas. He allowed 3 earned in a 1/3 of an inning in a loss to the Rangers. Last 3 outings, 5 walks, 1 strikeout for Axford. Could have been a strike. Morneau, the only Sox player without a hit tonight. Let's play 6 degrees in the 8th inning. 6 degrees of Luke Appling. He played with Floyd Baker with the Sox from 45 to 50, who played with Kurt Simmons with the Cardinals in 65, who played with Carlton with the Giants in 86. Terry Mulholland's teammate, Coco Crisp, in 2002 with the Cleveland Indian. Coco now with the Oakland Athletics. How about that?
How about that?
There's strike 3 to Morneau.
All the way to Coco. He's sitting on the bench this evening.
Much to his dismay.
Yep.
Waiting for his option to vest. Coco's getting a little shaggy in that picture. Popping a couple starbursts or something there.
When you're down as they're down and you're not playing, keep yourself entertained.
Lace to first, and Yonder Alonso with a dive for out number 2.
Alonso's played a good defensive first base in this series. This time he takes the 2nd hit of the night away from Jason Coates. He had a base hit in the 2nd inning and was bidding for his 2nd, but not to be.
It's 2 down for Navarro. The Sox put up 6 runs in the first 4 innings. And since then, the A's bullpen has stymied the Sox offense. 12 in a row retired by Oakland pitchers. You wouldn't imagine Sale would be around for the 9th. He looked like he was saying bye-bye to his teammates.
I wouldn't think that he would run out there at the 118 pitch mark, especially with this kind of lead.
Ball 3 to Navarro. In the 9th, we'll have Valencia, Davis, and Healy. So not exactly the simplest path to the victory for whomever it might be. 3-1. Popped up, out of play.
No, you would think it would be Nate Jones. You got the right-handers coming up. Chris has more than done his job tonight. 3 left-handers, 3 right-handers in the 9th. Face undoubtedly Nate Jones.
3-2 on the ground. Alonso for the final out. All it takes is 3 more. Sox lead it in a big way thanks to Chris Sale in the offense. 6-0. Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
And we've got Nate Jones coming in the game with 3 outs to get through the heart of the order.
Danny Valencia's first. Ball 1.
There are the numbers on for the 57th time. 5-2 record, 2.24 ERA. And opponent's hitting a paltry 189.
That ball's crushed to right field. Eaton and Coates look up, and this ball is gone. The A's have broken the shutout.
That's home run number 15. Valencia's driven in 44. And that's the opposite field job. So Mazda replay. He gets a hold of a fastball that was outer third and up and gone. Second hit of the night.
So 1 in, and here's Chris Davis, who takes a fastball up. Danny Valencia bordering on 300 for the year.
Probably over that now.
He's got 6 straight games with 2 hits.
Well, I mean, because he's been so hot, one of the reasons why he played against the right-hander last night.
Way up the elevator shaft. Sanchez for out number 1. Here's Ryan Healy, who's 0 for 3. Sox trying to pick up win number 30 at home. They'd go to 30-27 here at U.S. Cellular Field. has 24 home games remaining at the end of the year. One strike from Jones. Just fades inside on the slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, there was an example of trying to throw it away and the ball backed up. Very few pitchers, none that I ever knew, would actually make a slider back up by design. It just kind of goes there when you don't throw it in the right spot.
Up the middle, Healy is on with a 1-out single. A is for anticlimactic tonight on the Oakland helmet. Here's Stephen Vogt after the 1-out single for Healy.
Looks like David Robertson starting to throw in the bullpen.
As a safeguard for a possible Oakland rally. Foul ball from Vogt. Strike 2. Healy at first, 1 out, 6-1 Sox. That is a ground ball to second. Sanchez the spin and 1 out there.
I'm not sure if he caught the bag. I think they want to take a look at it. I think.
Yeah, Healy's not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're going to ask to take another look, and there was really no play at first here. Tim Anderson got off the bag pretty quickly. He's not on the bag. He's safe at second base.
Yeah, the neighborhood play is not available. So to clarify a rule, by the way, even though after the 6th inning, 7, 8, 9, you can request a crew chief review. If you have a challenge remaining, you must use it first. So this is the Oakland challenge, and they'll likely get it back.
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty quick.
Going to be successful.
Worth mentioning too that the guys that they're talking to in New York are an umpiring crew. That's part of the umpire rotation, viewing the replay and save the call very easily for the guys in New York.
Now, there is an argument for the team error that they want to institute something that will move things along in baseball. Let's have a team error.
You think that'll help?
I think it'll help the pitchers.
And that's the only help anyone needs.
That's all you need.
Here's Eibner, 2 on, 1 out. Ball 1. Two balls, no strikes.
Meanwhile, David Robertson is getting ready in earnest.
Vogt at first, Healy at second. After a cavalier play that should have been out number 2. Line to right. This is down. Healy around third. It's a 6-2 ball game.
And for Eibner, that's just his 3rd run batted in, and the first run batted in that didn't come via the home run. So he takes that fastball down, keeps his head down on it, and drives it into right field. So here comes Robin. That's going to be it for Nate Jones. Now it's a 4-run lead. So as he comes out, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Save. He's out for the 50th time. 3-2 ERA. 3.93. Arizona's at first and second. Only 1 out here in the 9th inning.
Back-to-back years with 30 saves. With David Robertson with the Sox and 3rd straight overall. He joins Bobby Thigpen, Roberto Hernandez, Bobby Jenks, Keith Foulke, the only pitchers ever in their Sox tenures to have 30 saves in 2 straight years. 6-2. Tying run on deck. Yonder Alonso takes ball 1. They recall back on June 29th, Sox were up 9-1 in the 9th. Minnesota scored 5 in that 9th inning, and it was Nate Jones who came in to complete the save, his 2nd. Jones is out tonight. Robertson is in. There's a strike, 1-1.
Come on, David! Eat up on the ball!
Ball and a strike. Robertson to Alonso. 2-1. Homer pop-up, single, error, single so far in the 9th. Two one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Game that Robertson didn't think he was going to have to go out for, and Robin Ventura didn't think he'd deploy him for. The A's have continued to scratch. 2-2. Robertson to Alonso. Breaking ball tapped foul.
Just barely able to stay alive.
Robertson third in the AL in saves, behind only Zach Britton and Francisco Rodriguez. Maybe some divine help for the Sox in this ninth. 2-2. He got him. Strike three on a breaking ball in the dirt.
Big strikeout. Now you don't bring the tying run to the plate. He has that curveball in the dirt, secured by Deanna Navarro.
So 2 out for the major league rookie. This is his first major league game. Chad Pinder, up from AAA Nashville. Nearly got bonked with that one. 1-0. Will it be a Sox win tonight? On Sox night. One and 0 on Pinder. Ball and a strike. Level of focus ramped up for the players and the fans. 1-1. Robertson to Pinder. 2 on, 2 out. A wayward breaking ball. 2-1. Marcus Semien, who does have a home run stroke with 23 of them this year, is on deck. Two one. Now 2-2. Threw it by him at 91. Up they go in Chicago. Robertson to Pinder. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2. Where do you go here?
Well, Robbie likes his curveball. He feels he can get it over, he'll get a strikeout.
Fourth major league at bat for his opponent, Pinder. 3-2. In the air, center field. Eaton back. Adam is there. And the Sox win 6-2.
Not before a few thrills here in the ninth. Adam Eaton had 2 great catches in center field tonight. First one, he hit the wall, and this one, he was able to run down. It's a fastball, it's down the middle, and Pinder hits the daylights out of it. Adam just takes off, measures the ball all the way, and makes the last out of the ball game.
Well, nothing easy is worth living for anyway.
Nope.
6-2, Sox get the win. Their 58th of the year. We'll take a break and come back to wrap it up from U.S. Cellular Field.